All right, just kind of recapping last Saturday evening. Just after watching the film, again, just thought our effort is there. Our guys are playing hard. The last 2 weeks, they just keep playing harder and harder. So that is an area that's definitely improving. We still struggle getting off blocks, making plays in space. Those type of things keep showing up. We did have some guys making some plays, some good plays, and David Johnson played his best ball game of the year without a doubt, especially when you're going against a top receiver in which they have that be an NFL caliber receiver. Thought he played one of his best games. He was our defensive player of the game, from a offensive standpoint, Cortland Sutton, it was good to see him get back going again. Had a phenomenal game. He was our offensive player of the game. Made some great catches, especially when double coverage. So that was good to see. Zach Wood in special teams. Again, our field goal block unit continues to shine. And we've been close all year long. In the last 2 weeks, it's really kind of stood out. I thought our return unit, our kickoff return unit was, again, giving us great field position. We were unable to capitalize on it on several occasions early in the first half, and that inevitably hurt us toward the end. But when you look back at it, the bottom line is this: that we turned the ball over twice. Both times resulted in 14 points for them, and that's definitely the difference in the game. I think you come into this game, and if we don't turn the ball over, and our inability of creating turnovers has not helped us the last few weeks. And so if you come into this game and we don't turn the ball over and they don't turn the ball over, we win the ball game. And so right now it keeps going back to, again, SMU keeps beating SMU. And those are the things that we have got to get straight and get cleared as we continue to move forward with success. So with that, I'll open it up.
How much does inexperience play a role in mistakes?
Well, anytime you play freshmen, I mean, that's just part of playing freshmen. With playing young guys comes mistakes. That's part of the growing process. I think you see a lot of these teams that we're playing are pretty much veteran teams, much like this team we're playing this week. A very veteran team. And when you have guys with great experience, that's one thing you can't coach. You can't coach experience. And when you have experience, you got guys out there that have been in the battle. They've seen it, and they're able to rely on their experience. And so right now, with the young guys that we're playing, that happens. You're going to have some mistakes.
What are the pros and cons of such a tough schedule you guys have played?
Well, when you look at our schedule, and I don't think anybody would have been able to envision that you're going to play probably 6 of your 12 are going to be top 20 opponents or top 25 opponents, and one FCS. It's one of the premier FCS teams in the country. So 7 basically of your 12 teams are the tops in all of college football. I definitely didn't see that coming into this year. I knew that we were going to play a tough schedule, but I didn't see it to be like this. I mean, I think that's a credit to our league. I think it's a credit to coaches that have established their program and established their culture. When you look at Coach Rule at Temple, I mean, 2 years ago they're 2-10, then they're 6-6, and then they got game day, and so and they're loaded with juniors and seniors. And they're playing exceptionally well. I think you look at that, and you look at our league, and there's no question that we've got the toughest schedule in our league. We've definitely played that, and so it's just unfortunate we're having to play it with some young guys. But at the end of the day, we can't control that. The one thing we can control is how hard we play, and the experience that we're gathering, and it'll continue to pay dividends down the road at some point. But we've got our work cut out for us this week,
After the TCU and Baylor games, you said exactly what you just said, that experience will pay dividends down the road. You haven't seen the results necessarily on the scoreboard, but what are you seeing in your team's development that came from that tough schedule that you can use playing the Temple, Memphis, and teams like that down the rest of the way?
Well, I definitely think what we've been able to see is this is a much improved football team. I mean, it's we've had to come a long way from where we started, to where we are now. We have improved. The results aren't paying off on the scoreboard just yet. You know, and we told the guys last night, you know, yesterday in our meetings. I mean, you got to believe that the moon's up there. Even in days that it's cloudy at night and you can't see the moon, you got to trust that the moon's still there. And same way with the sun on cloudy days, it's still there. You've got to believe in the process. You got to have faith that this thing's going to work out. And we are getting better. We are learning how to practice so much harder. We're competing so much more in practice and competing on the field. So our effort on the field has improved. But we're not good enough at this stage to make major mistakes and be able to overcome them right now, especially when you're not creating turnovers. It's one thing to give the ball up and hold them to, as we did the week before, to 3 points. We turned it over 4 times, gave up 3 points off turnovers. That's tough. I mean, if we'd have done that last week, it would have been a different ball game. But when you're not creating turnovers and you're turning the ball over, especially resulting in points, that's hard. It's hard for any team in the country to overcome. So I think the results of our schedule, who we've played, we're able to go back and say, look, you've played the best in the country, and you've played toe-to-toe with them. It's just that we've got to continue to develop our depth. We've got to continue to believe in the process and understand that this truly is a process that it's going to take some time to get this thing like we want it. And when I mean time, I'm talking, you know, I'm not talking years. I'm talking, look, week to week. You keep giving us the effort. You take care of the football, and the results will just be a byproduct.
Have an injury update for
Yeah,
Jared Mitchell?
yeah. We unfortunately we've got 2 guys that are out. Kyron Mitchell, he's done for the year. It's unfortunate. He's having a great year. Very productive on defense. I hate that for him. Horace Richardson's another one that has been battling injuries this year, and again, unfortunate for him. He was playing well, but those 2 guys will be out for the remainder of the year, more than likely, and we'll know more today. But outside of that, you know, it just gives another opportunity for a young guy to come in and continue to play and to get better.
Can you share what their injuries were?
I'm sorry?
Can you share what their injuries were?
You know, Kyron's was a knee and Horace was his shoulder.
When you look at Temple and how they've progressed from being in a place not too different from where SMU was these past couple years to now a veteran team who played a lot of guys early and is having a lot of results now. When you've looked at them, when you've studied them, do you kind of see yourselves on that same trajectory and kind of doing the same things that they did now that you're in the earlier process of what they went through a couple years ago?
Well, I think you look at just different teams in our league, period, not just them. I think you look, this league, and I've said this for a while, this league is full of turnaround programs. I think you look at Memphis, and where Memphis was several years ago, I say several, 3 or 4 years ago. I think you look at them, I think you obviously look at Temple and see where they're at. I think it's just a combination of a lot of things. You know, we've talked to our guys about that. We have, and that you know, just a few years ago, 2 short years ago, they were sitting there and trying to put together with a bunch of young guys, and understand that it was a process. If these guys will stick with it, and that the process is going to pay off. And I think you're seeing Temple right now. I definitely think if we all saw the game the other night against Notre Dame. I mean, they got a chance, and the guy makes a great throw there at the end of the game. They're in position. Their safety's in great position to make a play, and it was a great throw and great catch. It wasn't they were out of position, but those guys played. They definitely performed big time on a huge stage, and so that's a credit to Coach Rule and his staff and what they're doing there. But got great respect for him. They opened up beating Penn State, and and Penn State's just a 2-loss team right now. So good football team. Let me tell you, a really good football team.
How important is it for the reputation of the conference to have teams like Temple and Memphis doing what they're doing?
Yeah, I mean, it is unless you're playing those guys. So I mean, I don't want to be selfish here about it, but yeah, I mean, proud for our conference, don't get me wrong. I think it is great for our conference, especially when you look at what these teams are doing, and that only is going to pay dividends for our conference. But when you're playing those teams, it's not necessarily, you look at it. But I will say this, as I told our team last night, we got an opportunity to play a very, very good football team on a national television stage at home this week, and we'll be prepared. Our guys are going to play exceptionally hard, and we're going to play to win. I will tell you that.
You said after the South Florida game that you needed to see the Cortland Sutton of early in the season, and he comes back with 8 catches, 165 yards, and 2 touchdowns. What did you tell him during the week?
Well, it's challenging, and not just him, but all of them. I didn't think we played well offensively against Central Florida, or South Florida. Didn't think we played well at all. And it was kind of indicative of how we practiced. I mean, I thought our defense practiced really strong for 2 weeks. I thought offensively we were just average at times. We would show sparks, but we weren't consistent. And so we really challenged our guys last week. They had the best week of practice offensively that they've had, and you could definitely tell, especially on the opening drive of the game, when Matt makes a great throw to Cortland, and really Cortland's cut, and he makes a really good catch. You just felt that, hey, just put it around the guy, he's going to go make some plays, and he definitely did that. So it was good to see. My challenge to him and will be, and as our entire staff will be, is just consistency. And for a young guy, sometimes that's hard. It really is. And so we as coaches have got to demand consistency out of our young guys.
Darryl Kohlberg got a few minutes at the end of South Florida, but you put him in the first half against Tulsa. What led to that decision, and what did that give him and your offense, just to have another quarterback with a few more snaps under his belt?
Well, I did. I thought Darryl played well at South Florida, gave us a spark, took us down and scored. And, the thing I wanted to do, that was designed all week long, that we were going to put Darryl in on the third series of the game. More so than anything, just to kind of get Matt over to the side, just to kind of get a refocus about ourselves, and whether how well he was playing or not through the first 2 series really didn't have any indication on when Darryl was going to go in, and because he was going to go in that third series, and we had his script ready for him, and I just thought that from the way he played the week before, let's get him in there, let's get Matt over the sidelines and kind of refocus and get going again with it. So and then the plan was to put Matt right back in there after that. So that was our plan going in.
How much of Matt's running is his decision, whether or not to run, or your decision to do something else, or the way teams are playing?
Yeah, well, we had a few called quarterback runs last week. We didn't have as many as we've had in the past. Matt is, some of that was Matt pulling the ball down and scrambling and making plays with his feet and trying to make plays with his feet. The thing is, Matt, and he and I've talked about it, is, at times when you do that, you try to do so much. And he's such a fierce competitor. Those are the things that you just keep playing within the system, keep trusting in yourself, and, be able to get to your second and third reads. But we've got to help him out in some protection also. I mean, he can't get hit as he has. There was many times he got knocked down the other night just on base quick game. And that can't happen. I mean, I don't care what quarterback you are, that affects you. And so those are some things that we got to help him out.
Anything else, guys?
How does the schedule being a day shorter affect your preparation?
Well, our guys, so today will be like a Tuesday, and so we'll be back out on the field today with going through our normal times, and tomorrow will be a Wednesday. Last night we basically just kind of watched film. Normally we go out on a Sunday night, but I chose to kind of take it off their legs a little bit and spend a little bit more time in the meeting rooms. Back on the field today and tomorrow, and then Thursday will be just a game prep, finish it up, get ready for Friday. So I'm excited. I really am. I'm excited to have an opponent like this coming into our to our home stadium, and watch our guys perform and continue just to improve. That's our challenge. We want to see our guys improve, keep giving great effort. That's something that's been consistent the last 2 weeks. We got to take care of the football. We have to win the turnover margin. We were the least penalized team, which is one of our goals last week. We were penalized one time for 10 yards, and We won the explosive plays, which was one of the first times we've done this year. And so that just goes to show you, we didn't quite make the positive impact in special teams that we want to make. We were pretty even there, even though we had some great return yards. We kind of lost the battle when we gave up 7 points on the punt. But the biggest glare was we lost the turnover margin, and it resulted to 14 points. And so those are things we got to help ourselves with.